All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going to break down the chaotic events of one really tragic day. We're going to piece this whole thing together using raw police body cam footage and official reports. It's a tough one, but it really shows how a personal crisis can just explode into a public disaster. Okay, let's dive in. So we're jumping right into the middle of the action here. Imagine this. A high-speed police chase, but the driver is going the wrong way, straight into oncoming traffic. You got sirens blaring, cops scrambling. It's an absolute nightmare unfolding on the highway.
But how did we even get here? I mean, a high-speed chase into oncoming traffic doesn't just happen, right? To get the full picture, we've got to rewind a few hours. We're going back to a seemingly quiet trailer park, where a house fire was about to kick off this whole tragic chain of events. Okay, so police get a call and show up at this trailer park. What they see is a home just swallowed by thick black smoke. But right away, they know this isn't just some accident. A victim has just managed to get out, and she wasn't just running from the fire. She was escaping a violent, terrifying attack. And what she tells them is just horrifying. She says her boyfriend, a guy named Noah, brutally attacked her. He punched her, threw her on the ground, and choked her. And then, in the middle of all that, he just tells her the house is on fire and demands her car keys. As he's leaving, he says something pretty chilling. "I'm not going back to jail." So while the firefighters are tackling this intense blaze, the police are starting to put together the list of crimes. It's a lot. We're talking first-degree arson, domestic assault, and of course, vehicle theft. But then they find something truly heartbreaking. Inside the home, a tiny 6-week-old puppy had died from the smoke. Just awful. You know, the investigators on scene noticed something really, really sinister. The fire, it wasn't started randomly. It looks like it was deliberately set right between the bathroom where the victim was and the main way out of the house. So this wasn't just a fire, it was basically a trap. He was effectively blocking her only escape route. All right, so now we have a suspect, Noah, on the run in a stolen car. The police know what he did, but the big question is, why? What could possibly lead to this? And as they dug in, the answer pointed to a really complex and severe history of mental health struggles. It turns out, from what people who knew him told investigators, Noah had been diagnosed with dissociative identity disorder, or DID. You might have heard it called multiple personality disorder before. And that wasn't all. He was also dealing with PTSD and pyromania. So we're talking about a whole cocktail of serious conditions here.
Someone close to him tried to give the police some context, and what they said is really telling. They were asked, did he know he was in trouble? And the answer was yes and no. It depends on what personality you're talking to. Wow. I mean, that really paints a picture of just how fractured his reality might have been.
And here's a really crucial piece of the puzzle. This wasn't just happening out of the blue. A witness told police that Noah had been off his antipsychotic meds for a whole month. And why? Because his insurance had lapsed, and he couldn't afford the prescription. This is where you see a personal crisis just slam into a systemic failure. So let's put it all together. We've got Noah off his medication, his mental state is clearly spiraling, and he's behind the wheel of a stolen car. What comes next? A desperate, high-speed manhunt that's about to turn the local roads into a terrifying chase scene. Police actually get a tip from his mom, and they spot the stolen Toyota Camry. But Noah, he's not stopping for anyone. The chase just ramps up, hitting speeds of 90 miles an hour. And then he does the unthinkable. He crosses the median and starts driving straight into oncoming traffic. Just absolute terror for anyone on that road. At this point, the chase is a full-blown public menace. It's just a matter of time before something terrible happens. You know, officers are trying to keep up, but other cars on the road are getting in the way, creating this dangerous gap between them and the fleeing suspect. The situation is completely out of control. The police actually lose sight of him for a second, but a dash cam on a semi-truck catches the whole horrifying end to the chase. The footage is it's brutal. You see Noah's car swerving like crazy before it just plows into another vehicle. A violent metal-on-metal collision. Right away, cops are all over the wreck. They manage to pull a dazed-looking Noah from what's left of his car, but their first priority is the other vehicle. Inside, they find an older couple, and they're both badly injured. The chase might be over, but now it's about dealing with the human toll. Okay, so Noah is now in custody and he's at the hospital getting treated. And this is when the story starts to come out bit by bit. He starts making these really startling and frankly often contradictory confessions. So while he's at the hospital, he admits he made a firebomb to start that fire, but he insists he wasn't trying to kill the victim. He blames his actions on coming down from meth and says his original plan was suicide by driving the car into a river. It's just a cascade of confessions. When all was said and done, Noah was found guilty on a laundry list of charges. I mean, just look at this. It really shows the full scale of the destruction he caused in just one day, from the initial assault and the fire, all the way to that insane police chase and its violent conclusion. And the sentence? 30 years in prison. The Department of Corrections says the earliest he'll be eligible for parole is November of 2042. At that point, he'll be 42 years old. You know, when you look at this whole story, it leaves you with a really tough question, doesn't it? Where does the personal responsibility end and the system's failure begin? You have a severe mental health crisis, made worse by a gap in healthcare, that then explodes into a public safety nightmare. It's a tangled mess, and honestly, there are no easy answers.